Hi, how are you doing? I am doing fantastic. I want to read an article for today, day 5 of my second 45-day Tai Chi Gung Circle of Life 45-day challenge. This article I found on the web. It's called The Scientific Proof That Everything and Everyone is Connected and Infinite. So it's short, so don't worry, it's not too long. Let's start with imagining yourself in a park and that in some way you can go out of your body and fly up. After a few meters, you will see yourself as a dot. Flying more up, you will see a park as a dot. Then a city you are in looks like a dot. Then the county. Then the country. Then you will see the earth as a dot. After you rise far enough, the whole solar systems and galaxies will become a dot. That is telling us that everything is a dot from way up above. Now go back to your body and let's dive into it deeper. You will find out that you are made of millions of dots called cells or cells. Then go deeper onto the surface of the cell and look around. You will see that it is made out of millions of smaller dots. If you go into one of those dots, you will see atoms. And yes, that exactly means that there are dots all the way down. So we can say that everything is composed of dots, and within the dot is an infinite amount of division, infinite amount of information. Einstein's theory of general relativity covers the cosmic scales and the relationship between gravity, time, and space. It predicts continuum to an infinite point of singularity. You'll hear physicists and mathematicians talk about singularities. Singularities are really dots, a point where everything breaks down and the mathematical equations don't give you a defined answer because you have a ton of dots, which makes up mass in an infinitely small space. On another hand, we have a quantum theory that covers the smallest units in the universe. It predicts finite and linear boundaries. What if infinities and linear boundaries could be complementary? Imagine the cells in your body that are made out of atoms. There are about 100 trillion cells in your body, and each cell has billions of atoms. And imagine that all of these cells and atoms could be further divided into subatomic particles that can be divided into subatomic particles and further on towards infinity. That would mean that even you have a physical body, you have an infinite nature. There is a concept in quantum physics, and I love those two words together, quantum physics, called Higgs boson, or unofficially the God particle. It refers to the smallest division that the universe creates. At first, we had microscopes where we saw the cells, and we believed that they were the smallest particles that existed. Then we found atoms, protons, neutrons. Then we went even smaller to quarks, and so on. Every time we designed a better accelerator, we have seen the smaller particle. Now we are looking at things that are billions of times smaller than an atom. Following this, it seems like it could be done to infinity. So we found out that we could be infinite. But what about the universe? If the universe is infinite, it has always been infinite. There were infinitely dense. Since then, it has been it's getting dense and more expanded. If we want to find something that connects all things, what would that be? The only thing that is everywhere that connects all things is space. Space is between galaxies, stars, planets, cells, atoms. Even the atomic structure is made out of 99.99999% space. The material world is made out of 99.999% space. So the reality we live in is mostly space. The whole material world you see, including our bodies, is 0.0000001% solid. and yet we spend almost 100% of our time paying attention to it, our bodies, everything that we see solid, our homes, our vehicles, everything that we can touch, see, experience with our senses. If we are all space and everything is space, why do we see boundaries like our bodies? The truth behind that is that those are physical boundaries. We extend more than our physical bodies. We include our energetic bodies, auras, even our higher self that is present in all dimensions. We have a sense of separation just because of those boundaries that, in a fact, are nothing but energy vibrations. It is easier to accept that the universe is structured of the space because of the scale. It is bigger than us. If you omit the scale, you will see that we are small universes. The first known thing in the creation is infinity. Infinity is a creation, the law of one. So there was another article that I was going to look up. I'll have to, I was just being nosy to see what is it. We don't get too many spacecrafts flying in this pattern over here, so I was curious to see what that was. So I have to find the other article because it's going to help me describe what I want to talk about next, which would be Reiki, what I mentioned yesterday, and I was getting to my master level Reiki. So we are all connected. Since mass is only 0.0000001% of what everything is made up is mass, everything else is more space. So we are solid creatures, but we're not as solid as we think. We are less solid, but we are all connected. I think that's very, very cool. There's a lot of articles about that. I need to find the other article that I was reading yesterday to go over and finish my train of thought on this. I thought I had it up, but I did not. I don't. But it's very interesting. Let me see. I think I had sent that to myself. I send things to myself so I won't lose them. So let me see if I can. Okay, my article, the scientific, no, just that. Yeah, no, there's something else, but I was thinking how we're connected and how I describe Reiki. So people, not everybody understands Reiki and how I can do the Reiki healing in distance. So I was thinking we are all connected, where there isn't anything between us. So dark matter. It was an article about dark matter. So dark matter is everywhere, and dark matter is denser than physical properties. So you can't see it and measure it with our senses. So we don't understand it, and so we don't believe it because we don't experience it with the five senses that God gave us. So if we could experience it, then we would understand it and believe it. We could wrap our head around it. It would be, it would be like that. Excuse me. So dark matter is everywhere, and it's everywhere that a person, place, or thing, an object, doesn't take up. So you can picture dark matter everywhere in our galaxy, in our universe. So let's say between the planets there's dark matter. So even the planets are connected. We're connected to the planets or the sun or the moon because there isn't space between us. It's dark matter. So that's what connects us. We're all connected. And let's say, since we can't see or feel or taste or smell dark matter, let's put it in a form that we can see and measure and taste and sense with our senses. It could be water, or it could be slime. It is air, but it's beyond air. But dark matter is beyond just air. So let's say dark matter was the consistency of slime. You can taste it, feel it, smell it, experience it with all of our senses. So it's easier to conceive if we had a tub, a bathtub, or a pool full of slime, and then when we jump in it, the slime separates and forms around our body. It doesn't, it doesn't stay, open, like dirt or other objects may, keep a divot and stay like that. It would come back and form around our body, like water does. So let's say slime is everywhere where we are not. Like between me and my dog, there's slime, and the tree, or where you are, between me and you, every empty space between me and you, around the roads and the houses and the buildings and the cars, that slime was everywhere else. It as opposed to air or dark matter. So slime is here. If I want to put my arm out in that slime, the slime would separate for me to be able to put my arm in it. And when I moved my arm back out, it would form back together. So dark matter, no whining. Dark matter is like that. So we are also connected. We're all connected by dark matter. So wherever you are in the world, we're not separated. We're not separated by space, and we're not even separated by time, but we won't even get into time. Time doesn't exist in heaven or in other universes and galaxies, but our planet has time for us to experience time. But we created time, or God gave us time, so we can go from one event to another and measure between the next thing we had to do. So we created the calendar and alarm clocks and all the everything around time, but time doesn't really exist. So not in linear form. Anyway, so where you are right now, there is dark matter between us, and so we're connected. It's not like there's space between you, and until I come to you and see you and touch you and hug you, then we're connected. That's false. We're not connected only when we're in each other's presence. So even when we're separated, we're not separated. There is no separation. So even when we're not in the same vicinity of each other, no matter where you are in the world or in the galaxy, we are connected, because everything between us is the dark matter. And so when I want to do Reiki and send someone healing, just like I send a prayer to God, or I'm praying to, God, or, the angels are dispatching the prayers or answering prayers or doing God's, bidding in assisting people or whatever, however prayers work, however God does, answers prayers or heals someone or creates an event for us or whatever we're praying for, however he answers our prayers. So when I'm praying, and say you're in Paris, France, and you're praying for the same thing or completely different opposite thing, God doesn't get confused about, let's say everybody in the world at once, it just throws up a prayer to God. He would not be all of a sudden just like overwhelmed and, like the system would, be fried, like a computer would be overloaded. He knows exactly who is putting that prayer out, which is an intention. A prayer is a statement or a crying out or an intention. So when I want you to feel better or be healed or have a good day or whatever I'm praying about, do well on a test, my mom used to do all that, I'm going to pray for you to do well on the test today, or, stay safe when you're playing sports, or whatever prayers that we put up, so-and-so is sick, I'm going to pray for them. When we throw those prayers up or send them to God, he doesn't get confused. He knows exactly who is saying what, and then where that prayer or intention is going to or for, what it is. There is no lost in interpretation. There is no lost information, like like Levon was praying for who, and what did she want? And I don't know, because over there so-and-so is praying for that, and I don't know. It doesn't get mixed. It doesn't get crossed. Levon says a prayer. This is her prayer, and this is the answer. or this is the duty, or the claim that she's making, or the proclamation, or the healing energy that she's putting out for someone, or wishing well, or for someone to do well on the test, whatever the prayer is. So that intention goes to God, and it happens. God answers however He answers. He heals the person, or allows the person to, calm themselves and do well on the test, and think and remember what they had studied or whatever. So when I'm doing Reiki, before, I'm praying to God. I'm setting and preparing my space, and I am calling on the angels, my angels, and that person's angels for protection and intention. And I'm saying, we're going to do the Reiki healing. And so wherever you are, if you're there in front of me, then great. I can touch you, I can see you, and you can experience it because I'm there and I'm walking around and doing my thing, like I would be doing a massage or reflexology. But I'm doing Reiki, and running energy, the energy, the chi that we talk about in the circle of life, the ki or the chi that's in us and everywhere, and that's God's force, God's energy, God's love, God's healing power. It's what Jesus used when He healed, when He multiplied the bread and the fish, when He, all the miracles that Jesus did. Jesus set the intention. He was always talking to God. God knew what Jesus was doing, and He granted it. And Jesus said that we would do just as much as He did, plus more. And so I've always thought about that my whole life, like, oh my gosh, Jesus healed people, and He brought people back to from the dead, and He multiplied like the fish and the loaves to feed it was like 5,000 or 10,000 people. The Bible number is wrong because they were only counting males, but they didn't count the children and the females. So it was like more, whatever stated in the Bible. But, how could that be? So He used the power of God that God had given Him. And Jesus said, you're going to do what I did plus greater. So I can't imagine doing greater than what Jesus did. But one thing I thought of recently is, how could you do greater? So it would be reaching more people. Maybe He just did His region. He did travel some, but maybe because there's more people on the earth, or His ministry is just a few years. So maybe our ministry, if we get on our passion and our goal and our purpose in life, then maybe we'll have longer to do it. Because He only did His miracles for, was it 3 years, 30 to 33? So then I thought, oh, well, maybe it's the internet, with YouTube and social media and Facebook, instead of just sitting and He did speak to a few hundreds and, a couple thousand people at a time, like the Sermon on the Mount, and He would get a big crowd together. But now we can reach people faster and greater and a larger amount by the internet or the social media. I was thinking maybe maybe He already knew that, or He didn't know, but somehow God let Him know, like people in the future will be able to reach people, more masses and faster. So I don't know. So I'm not sure about that. So it's interesting to think like how we could do what Jesus did plus more. So when I do my Reiki, God knows what I'm doing even before I do it. If I set an appointment for someone, or let's say someone is up in let's say Florida. I'm going to heal someone and do Reiki energy for someone in Florida. I have to prepare my space. I've talked to that person already, and I say, you can be laying down and resting while I do this, or you don't. Just, go about your business, and you may feel something or you may not. So it's better if the person can sit down and rest and relax and concentrate to see if they feel anything, but they don't have to. It's not necessary for it to work. You're crying. Come here. So even when I'm setting up that appointment, or I'm talking to that person, hey, tomorrow, if you don't mind, I'll be working on you at 2 o'clock. Or, you need some right now, like, okay, well, God knows everything. And so we're connected to God all the time. And even before asking a question or saying something, a cat's about to cross, and the cat does not know these dogs are outside, and as soon as the dogs see the cat, it's going to go down. Look, Harley. Oh my gosh, the cat's looking around this little corner. If he keeps going in his route, there's going to be a rah, 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 rah. You see it, Harley? Go get the cat. Oh gosh. So, God knows who I'm going to be working on, and the healing and the intention. So he already knows before we do it. So on the day that I am, or the hour that I'm going to be working on someone in person or by distance, God already knows. But I still set my intentions. I still set my prayer. I say your prayer, and ask that person, may I work on you today? Do I have permission? You don't work on people without their permission. I'm not sitting here at home and sending Reiki energy and healing energy to people that don't ask for it. It's against the rules. So because we have free will, and maybe not everybody wants that healing or any kind of healing. So you have already agreed, but I ask you, then before I start, I say my prayer to God and my angels and your angels, and we're calling in, the highest good, and we're calling in, and we're also protecting, we're setting a protection around us, so nothing bad is going to happen. Satan is not, going to be there and working against us, because he knows that he doesn't want people to be healed and happy and prosperous or whatever. So, hey, Lavon's over there trying to heal somebody, let me go mess with her. No, he doesn't. He's not allowed, because where there is light, there is no darkness. So I'm calling in angels to protect my space and that person and myself. So I'm protected. I don't even worry about that. I'm so protected. And so I set my intentions and I say my prayers. God knows. The person does not have to be there. And I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but Jesus didn't have to be present in the person's presence to heal them or raise them from the dead. But Jesus did say we're going to be doing what he did plus more. So we are all connected by dark matter. We are all connected by God. We're one. We are all from God. God created us from his thought form and his word. Everything is of God, and everything on the planet and in the universe, it's the same material. Like, there's nothing new. Now we can gather some of God's material and make a man-made material like plastic. But plastic isn't foreign. It's created from the elements and the resources that God gave us. So we just, he let us know how to make plastic. So there isn't anything foreign. Even if, a meteorite came from space and landed on the planet, like, God knows that, and he's in charge of that. He's, nothing's going to be on here that he doesn't allow on our planet. So God is in charge. God knows everything. We are connected through God, because we're all from God, and we are all of the light. Everybody has the spark of God in them. Our soul is from heaven. It's just in this body. So we can't go wrong. We cannot mess up. So if my intentions are always good, and they are, when I am doing massage, reflexology, or Reiki, and running Reiki energy and healing, God knows. God is there. God is present. The angels are there. The person that I'm working on, and we are protected. We're safe, and it is very effective. It is effective. It is something that works. It is a powerful modality that we all can do, that everybody can do. So you can look up Reiki and research it and study it on your own. But it is a healing modality that came from God, and God is involved. The angels are involved. It could be, what Jesus was doing. I don't know. I don't know if they had the word for it then, but it's been around for thousands and thousands of years, and it is of God. It is not from Satan. It's not anything satanic. It's not evil, and it's very, very good modality, a form of healing. So I love you. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.